Hello everybody, my name is Ashley and today I'll be talking about India and the healthcare problems it faces. Having spent the majority of my life in the healthcare profession, I've developed a great interest for healthcare and how it affects the world. As of 2014, there were a little over 1 billion people in the country of India. With all these people, they're still considered a low-income country. The World Health Organization indicates that Southeast Asia, which India is included in, accounts for 57% of the global communicable disease burden. Today we will specifically talk about India and the healthcare flaws and how it's affecting the population. India offers free healthcare that its population cannot take advantage of. It has poor sanitation standards, and it has a very high rate of communicable disease transmission. To truly understand the healthcare problems in India, you must first understand why the people aren't able to take advantage of the health services that are offered. Although the government health services are nominally free and available to all, they are widely scattered and poorly staffed and equipped. People in villages and tribes are unable to transport themselves to areas where these services are offered. And even if they could get to these areas, they receive poor medical care from staff that often doesn't wash their hands between patients or sanitize workspace and equipment. As well, generations of families are unable to climb out of the pit known as poverty due to the Hindu caste system that is still largely prevalent today. Although the government has recently taken steps similar to affirmative action in the United States, many people still suffer resistance and intolerance that hinders them from moving forward. Despite governmental assistance to rectify inequality that plagues India, 42% of the population still lives below the poverty line. Poverty is a huge reason for the next health concern I will address, and that is sanitation. Because of the poor conditions in India, it lacks proper sanitation and basic necessities like clean drinking water, which causes its people to live in conditions that lead to poor health. Inadequate sanitation is a major cause of disease worldwide. The sanitation problem cost India $54 billion, or over 70% of this economic impact, or $38.5 billion, was health-related. The reason for the poor sanitation in India, in urban areas, at least 620 million people are forced to defecate outside because they do not have access to toilet facilities, and they must wash in rivers and streams. Without clean water, people are not able to wash properly, and the problem is worsened because of the open defecation. Feces on the ground causes contaminated drinking water and water resources in general. Contaminated water causes many preventable illnesses and diseases, such as diarrhea, cholera, intestinal worms, malaria, and typhoid. We have so far discussed why poverty, poor sanitation, and contaminated drinking water are contributing factors to India's healthcare problems. Now we can talk a little bit more in depth about the transmission of preventable illnesses and diseases that plagues India's population. Although communicable disease transmission has declined in the past few years, it still accounts for 31% of mortality in India. Some communicable diseases that have been otherwise eliminated in most countries still pose serious health concerns in India today. According to the World Health Organization, Southeast Asia accounts for 70% of the global economic burden for Japanese encephalitis, 60% of the global economic burden for leprosy, and almost 60% of the global burden for dengue, all of which have been mostly eliminated in most advanced countries today. The World Health Organization also shares concern that most low-income countries have failed to eradicate most vaccine-preventable diseases. This means that the 31% mortality mentioned earlier was largely preventable with a simple shot. These shots, sadly, were just out of reach to a vast number of Indian nationals. Because of this, these diseases will continue to be passed from person to person due to poverty, poor sanitation, lack of clean water, and no access to the health care offered. In closing, we discovered that poverty and sanitation play significant roles in the population's health, and learned the importance of even the most basic medical care. Although brief, we were able to see from a well-rounded perspective the many issues facing India's health today. These issues included a healthcare system not attainable for all citizens, a lack of access to clean water and sanitary facilities, and the transmission of communicable diseases because of these things. Now that we are all better informed about India's healthcare flaws, we may be able to appreciate how fortunate we are. Thank you.